Today we will walk in Christian Louboutin's shoes, the legend who created the most beautiful and at the same time the most uncomfortable shoes in the world. If you're bored of your feet, you don't want to be happy and comfortable, wear the stockade for 6 hours and throw your legs in the trash. Today I will tell you the story of this living legend and the shoes that made history. Little Christian was born in 1963 in Paris. There must be something in the water in the city. It had created so many amazing designers, shoemakers, hat makers, you name it. It cannot be explained otherwise. There's something in the food in Paris. Anyway, Christian was born in Paris. His dad was a carpenter. He was making cupboards and closets and things like that. And his mom, Irene, raised the kids at home. She was making onion soups, traditional French delicacies, tartine. His father was not exactly this ideal father who enjoyed spending time with the kids, taking them to the park or spending time with the family, like so many other dads in the 60s. He was bringing home the bacon and that was enough for him. Hanging out with them felt a little bit like an overkill, so Christian grew up very close to his 3 sisters and his mom. The whole family was born in Brittany, whiter than Simon Cowell's teeth, but Christian was a little bit more of a caramel color. That led him to believe that he was adopted and his parents were not telling him about it. As a kid, he was obsessed with the idea that he was from somewhere more exotic. He had stated in 2012 in one of the very first successful interviews in Scotsman that he did not feel French at all, and he was making up stories in his mind about how he was adopted from Egypt as he was obsessing over the pharaoh's history. Well, 2 years after that interview, he found out that his mom had an extramarital and passionate affair with an Egyptian man. And now I want you to put yourselves in the shoes of this unfaithful mother. You're Irene, a milky white French petite cute stereotype from Brittany, and you're married to a man with the same background. Ethnic background. You managed to conceal that you were a bit sneaky 30 years ago and you convinced everyone that you were faithful and the baby was his. And now your own flesh and blood, your own son, has this obsession to expose you like that. Christian did mommy a bit dirty. Christian was going to school by force. He didn't like it at all. He was very rebellious. He got very easily bored. But one day they took them on an excursion to the Museum of African and Oceanic Arts. There he saw a metal sign that says no heels, I guess it was something like mind the floor, and had the design of a heel of a shoe on it. Since that day at the age of 12, he hasn't stopped drawing shoes to this day. He ran away from home twice, he was expelled from school thrice. You don't call this a very good start in life, but he persevered. From as early as 13, he was working in Paris' nightlife industry. He started going to clubs and bringing boys home at night from this young age. And not only did his mom permitted it, but she was also giving them her own bed to enjoy the night. Am I so Balkan for this? My mom would have hanged me on the clothesline in the garden, but it seems like Irene did not sweat it much. I don't know, it's a matter of safety as well for a 13-year-old to hang out with, like, adults and bring them back home. When he was 15, he got a job at a club, the Cabaret Folie Bergeret. There he met various artists who performed in burlesque shows and more. He became friends with many of the girls, making them hats, sequin clothes and shoes. He was like a caretaker in a way. In an effort to find his roots, he left Paris and traveled to Egypt, and after that he spent a year in India before returning in Paris in 1981. He got a job at Charles Jourdan, one of the oldest fashion designers, who was also very good at shoemaking and gave Christian the tools he needed to turn his beautiful drawings into actual shoes. Because it's one thing to paint a dress and another thing to make it. Exactly the same it goes with shoes. Drawing the shoe with making a shoe is very different. Then he met Roger Vivier, who must become an episode on his own. Roger Vivier, called the Fragonard, you know, the classic Rococo painter who painted the swing? Fragonard of shoes, because many of his shoes were detailed like sculptures, colorful, detailed. I'll put some in the screen so you can see them. In parallel, he was making shoes for almost all major French houses, Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, Christian Dior, until 1989, where he stopped working for Vivier completely. So what would be the next step for him? He got tired of fashion, and designing shoes, it does not carry the same glamour as the great designers and the main fashion houses. So for the next 2 years, he got a bit lost. He had given up shoemaking. He was doing gardening. He was around 27 at the time. He was jobless with no big dreams, wandering in the streets of Paris, until one day he decided to go buy a lamp. He knew the gentleman who owned the store, so they started talking. Christian told him that he's picking up gardening for a while. And in one of these awkward conversations you sometimes have with the cashiers in your neighborhood, where they know too much and they talk too much, the gentleman turns to Louboutin and goes like, okay, what are you gonna do with your life and what will your future look like? Why are you bothering to become a gardener? What's wrong with the shoes? I want to personally thank this man. He was nosy and rude, but that was a wake-up call for Christian Louboutin. It was a slap in the face. He understood that shoemaking is what he truly loves, and it's truly his destiny. In the early 90s, the golden age begins. He decided to get a shop in a gallery in Paris on Rue Jean-Jacques Rousseau. His first clients were all those people who worked or met him in his Vivier jobs and his freelancing jobs with the rest of the fashion designers, you know, that he was going from house to house. He got a reputation for himself. In 1993, it comes a revelation. The inspiration for the red sole that makes us recognize these shoes from miles away. He did not plan this to become a trademark. It was more of an impulse for a single season. His assistant was painting her nails, and when he showed the red tone of her polish, he came up with the idea to paint the soles on some of the sandals to give them a pop of color. He decided to do it for all the shoes in this summer collection, and customers absolutely loved it. They asked him to keep them all red because they were very special. 2 years later, the red soles found a home in New York, and they conquered this market as well. Madonna was the very first celebrity that helped a lot in spreading the fame of Louboutin, which from 1993 until the 2000s was constantly rising. Guys, I really appreciate Christian Louboutin for many reasons. First, he grasped what luxury really is. He does not sell you shoes. He sells a status symbol. A red sole makes you feel like you're wearing something important, that you belong with a different upper class. This is what sets great, timeless brands apart. It's neither the quality or the price or anything else, it's the feeling. If they're good enough for Rihanna to wear them on an important fashion event like the Met Gala, they're good enough for me. Another reason I appreciate him is because as a person, he's disarmingly honest, and he leaves you no room to question him. On many occasions, he has been asked to make a more mainstream series with lower price points, and he said no. He specifically said that it's not a negotiable. It would take offense, it would be offended if he put his name in something that it's not at the top of the quality that it can reach. I hear you, Christian. It's not essential, it's a shoe. He then proceeds to explain what it means to maintain a pair of Louboutins. These are not the shoes that you will buy and leave them in your closet. They should be treated as an investment, and I will tell you more towards the end of this video. May have said that these shoes are way too high and uncomfortable. Christian thinks he designs things things useless to humanity, and he does it with pride. In his own words, he said, "I didn't force any woman to buy or to wear them." He's just so honest. I respect this attitude because, let's be honest, this is a very new notion that luxury items are for everyone. The truth is, they're not designed for everyone. Yes, we're complaining that we can't go clubbing in Louboutins where there is a shoe designed for a special gala and red carpets. If I need to take the Northern Line to go to downtown London with the tube and walk for at least 20 minutes from one place to another, then Louboutins are not for me. I need a chauffeur for my shoes. The house sells around 1 million shoes a year. It could sell 10 times more if they were cheaper, but he prefers not to do it. I also love him because he's passionate about what he does. He has 100 pairs of shoes himself, and he thinks they're not enough for every occasion. And he uses this as an inspiration to make more shoes. In 2003, he expanded to handbags and named them after the names of his friends. Isn't that super cute? As he had done with the So Kate, the iconic pumps were inspired by Kate Moss, of course. So the Kate and So Kate shoes are inspired by Kate Moss. He made them more pointed and thinner. Today, they come out in a 7.10 and a 12-inch heel. It goes without saying that Louis fans love the bags, which although they are very expensive at the same price point as other legacy brands, they're not as popular. None of the bags have become the it bags, and I don't think they will in the future. In 2009, he launched the menswear line. As with the bags, he decided to create a new collection as he was going on a walk with his friend Louis, and he smelled some pomegranates in the garden, and he said, "Hey friend, you deserve a shoe." Like, he said to his friend, "Louis, you deserve a shoe, so let's make a shoe." And he made the entire collection. And yes, that sneaker became the it sneaker for a long time. It was worn by Pharrell, Justin Bieber, the Jonas Brothers, and then came the men's loafers and the lace-ups, which they conquered the Hollywood. There is no event, no Golden Globes, Oscars, BAFTAs, VMAs, you name it, that a male celebrity is not walking on red soles. And truth to be told, because menswear turned to be darker, like black and blue, it was a very strong pop of color to see a black tailored shoe and then pop, a little bit of red on the sole of the shoe. This somehow feels classy and playful at the same time. In 2013, he made a fantastic sieve, the Au Naturel, where he released his nude collection of pumps. And you're going to say, "Alex, I can hear you from the screen. Alex, Pretty Little Things also have nude collections. What are you on about?" But Christian didn't see nude as a color, but as a concept. In order for it to really look like the leg continues and the pump does not cut it, it should be close to your skin color, to the skin color of the woman wearing it. So he took 8 different shades of skin color to serve this concept and to serve different women. In parallel with all this, he collaborated with all the top designers. Alexander McQueen, Victor and Rolf, Jean-Paul Gaultier, but it doesn't stop there. Next year, in 2014, inspired by his own shoe, he wanted to make a nail polish with his signature red, exactly like his soles, his own red. And I'll tell you why I say his own red. But there was a small issue. You can't have one single beauty product in a shoe boutique. No matter what you do, it will look odd. So he decided to go all the way and created Christian Louboutin Beauty Collection. So he launched a nail polish, some lipsticks, some eyeshadows, and so on. It's not bad at all, but its products really didn't have the potency you expected. I consulted my makeup guru friend Joe Avertido, as I'm ignorant about makeup. The packaging is maximal, fantastic, and its products have very nice aromas. The lipstick smells like love, it smells like heaven. But my friend Joe says that the formula is pretty good, but nothing really special if you compare it to other fashion houses like Tom Ford, who has developed his cosmetic line so much. Unfortunately, Christian has a long way to go until the beauty line becomes a legacy high-end makeup fragrant house. He satisfies his thirst for expansion, everything is going well, but then all of a sudden Louboutin is very worried, he's showing some signs of paranoia. Now Christian Louboutin is famous in the fashion cycles for his lawsuits. I have counted at least 8 so far, but I will not mention them all. In all cases, the issue is the same. Louboutin has trademarked the red sole. It has been patented, so to speak. It is not possible for a shoemaker in any part of the world to make heels and boots and sandals and generally no kind of shoes with a red sole. The first lawsuit knocked YSL's door, for whom he had designed the shoes of the latest collection. In 2012, YSL launched a boot that the pump and the sole had the same color. They were all red. You couldn't see the seam or anything specifying where the shoe ends and where the sole begins. Christian took Yves Saint Laurent to court both in Europe and America. In America, his request was refused for 2 reasons. Firstly, he had not patented it worldwide. And secondly, because the red sole was part of the design of the shoe, and the purpose was not to distinguish the sole from the rest of the pump, as Christian Louboutin does. I agree with that, but anyway, some people said that you can't patent color. Christian said everyone knows his red soles, so you should never add them in any concept. This lawsuit was dropped, but in the next one that happened in Europe, he actually won. And the reason is because he patented the Pantone 1816-63 TP on a shoe, on a sole of the shoe. So he patented the color on a specific place on the shoe. This move is now taught in fashion schools as professors are exhibiting ways to protect your brand and intellectual property and make sure that no one can benefit from your success. In my personal opinion, these boots from YSL had nothing to do with the red sole. It's a different concept on a shoe design. It was pretty obvious. It could have been any color, they just happened to produce it in red as well. Precisely for the same reason, the red soles, he is fighting counterfeit with all his heart, which does make sense. Dupes are illegal since the red soles are patented, but also there is a lot of counterfeit. Be very careful, especially when you're buying used Louboutins. In May 2024, he filed a lawsuit against Meta, the Facebook and Instagram company, against a Mexican producer who sold fake Louboutins on the internet. I understand why, guys. A brand is super easy to get destroyed if it stays in the people's minds as a fake. Look what happened to Cartier. Kylie Jenner took a picture with a stack of Cartier bracelets, and then people went to buy them from independent jewelers because they were not very well protected. There are so many dupes and fakes that people are not actually buying them. Even though they're able to afford them, they prefer not to because the status element has been stripped away. And that's exactly what Christian Louboutin is trying to avoid. And keep in mind that Christian Louboutin is a 30-year-old company. He's not 100 or 300 year like Hermes or Louis Vuitton. He has to fight for his intellectual property, and rightfully so. In the last 3 years, while lawsuits are still on, he reopened his very first shop back there to Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Last year, he created the Louboutin family, which was shoes for children, both normal children and my type of children, the hairy four-legged ones. He has a collection of baby shoes, okay, but also dog leashes, dog harnesses, as if we weren't already giving a bunch of money to this brand. Now it's family inclusive. Louboutin has also done many collaborations with Disney. It's one that it's worth looking at, especially how an artist can be inspired and bring out the best of a theme on a shoe. He created one collection for 100 years of Disney, another one for the film Cinderella, as the theme was the glass slipper. And tell me, who would be more appropriate than Christian Louboutin to create this collection? A collection with Marvel as well, with Star Wars, Rogue One. He takes on various projects. He's a busy bee. He works with our beloved David Lynch on a photo exhibition. Rest in peace to this huge director. He's been to RuPaul's Drag Race as a judge. He's a very active designer. He creates mayhem with his creations everywhere he goes. But what does it actually mean to have a Christian Louboutin shoe? There is a ton of counterfeit out there, so as I said before, be very careful and don't try to buy them from dodgy sites or eBay. Get them from department stores or boutiques. If you live in the UK, visit Bicester Village because the prices are very similar to the pre-loved ones like Real and Vivier. It doesn't even worth taking the risk to get the used ones. Keeping in mind everything I told you, if indeed someone will do max 10 steps and they want a little treasure for their collection, get a pair, but be super really careful where you get them from. There are currently 153 stores of the brand and concessions in major department stores such as Harrods, Selfridges, Net-a-Porter, Macy's, Browns. Google before you get them. Secondly, if they have $200, they're not real. I know it sounds silly, but I have to say, even the self-explanatory things, if they're cheap, they're not real. If you decide to go for them and you want to keep them as an investment, keep in mind that two things will happen. If you want to resell it, you have to constantly take them to the cobbler, as the red sole and the heel gets damaged and needs repairing very often. This happens only at contracted repair shops if you don't want to lose the resale value. It costs around 60 to 120 euros. You can see in this black one, we have a little bit of a split even to the leather. It happens. It takes around 60 to 120 to renew the red soles. The skin is quite soft on the heel as well, so many times the heel needs repair that can cost a lot of money. If you don't want to resell them, just go to the same repair shops, the authorized repair shops, and they will add a thin rubber red sole. It's difficult to resell them if you decide to, because this rubber, if you have this rubber, you can't really tell the authenticity of a Louboutin if they are original. The whole reason and the true reason that I did this episode is the Maison Martin Margiela and Louboutin collaboration this season. This collection combines the femininity of Christian Louboutin and the avant-garde aesthetic of Maison Margiela. Everyone who knows me knows that Margiela is one of my favorite brands. You will find red sole tabby pumps, embellished ballerina tabby style, pointy boots with Margiela prints on them. It's a great collaboration and I'm very curious to see if Louboutin's team will try more collaborations because that was amazing. I'll put a few on the screen for you to see. That was it for today. That was the little story of Christian Louboutin. Let me know down in the comments if you own a pair. Leave a comment if you find them bearable. Like this video if you enjoyed it as much as I did. And until next time, see ya.